I took my kids to a soft play once, and my daughter was like, "Have you ever seen Strictly?" My mum won it, and then they were like, my dad's a judge on The Masked Singer. He's played for England 42 times. He's played in the Champions League final. But to them, he's the judge on The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
But you probably only on once.
Yeah. I was on one series of The Masked Dancer.
Masked Dancer, sorry.
Have you been asked to be in the suit? You'd be a bit of a giveaway, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'm not sure that would work for me. I don't know how much. I can't actually dance. Believe it or not, keep it under your hat.
No.
But actually,
What?
I only just did a stupid one on the pitch once, and it's followed me around for a long time. But,
it's nice to have something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it's lived on for a long time.
It has.
But
But I mean, who else has a signature move? It was great.
when you started the first book, David, like the boy in the dress, would you have anticipated writing kind of 40 more?
No, I thought I was going to write one or two, and it would be just a nice little thing I put on the shelf.
Like, can you believe the success of it all? I was like,
no, I can't. But it's weird, isn't it? There's one thing when someone says, "Oh, you've sold this many books," which is really nice, and then there's someone coming up to you in the street and saying, "Couldn't get my son to read until he read one of your books," or someone now grown up who says, "Oh, that book was the first book I read, and it meant something to me," and so there's sort of different ways of sort of appreciating success, aren't they? I mean, it's nice with it's nice with not viewing figures when you get like book sales figures, but it's quite abstract in a way. You go, "Oh, that's nice," but do these books mean anything to anybody? But it's something like 54 languages.
I know. That's
so I get copies, in Arabic, in
there's nothing in
Chinese.
Scouse, I notice.
No,
There's no Scouse versions.
No, but there are Gaelic versions, there's Welsh versions,
My
and
daughter,
Scots versions as well.
My daughter said to me the other day, "Mum, what did she say? She was talking. She said, "Right, I'm going to do it in British and then Scouse." It's the same thing. So funny. But no, going back to, I think the reason our kids started reading books is because you sent us a signed copy.
They'd never had a book before.
No,
not what they were interested in.
No.
Generally.
Oh, that's good.
And I think it was because it had your signature in, and they were going into school showing off.
Right, okay.
And then they actually read it, and they've literally read all of your books. You are a big favourite in our house.
As long as they're enjoying them,
No,
and
they
it's
are.
going to put them on a path to reading more, then I'm
Yeah,
happy.
I was reading
It's hard.
World's Worst Children. 3? I think you said 3 of those?
Yes, there are
I was
3.
reading 3 last night.
Thing is, I go into schools around the country where I find myself in places that I wouldn't normally be.
Yeah.
Because it's all very well if people ask you to go to nice, schools near where I live in London with lots of sort of privileged kids, but it's more interesting to go to schools around the country. So I'll go to somewhere like Glasgow and I'll say to the publishers, "Can we find a school that wouldn't necessarily have lots of visitors and things?" And we give out books to the kids, but also I always ask who in the audience hates books, who thinks books are boring, and there's a few boys who go, "But I know books are boring." One boy said, "I said, why do you think they're boring?" "Not enough killings."
Yeah.
Okay, but so. That's why I wrote the World's Worst series, because I thought I want to write a book where there's no barrier to any child enjoying this. That was my hope, in terms of it's sort of a bit like the Beano with these funny characters. It's loads and loads of visuals. There aren't any sort of big themes you have to get out of it. It's just meant to be funny and surreal.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's the kind of book I would have liked to have read as a kid, and that hopefully would have got me onto sort of reading other things as well as I got older.
One of my favourite authors growing up was Roald Dahl, right? And it seems like
The modern day Roald Dahl.
Yeah, there's been some influence, obviously, with Quentin
massive
Blake,
influence.
being the illustrator on the books.
Yes,
as well.
so Quentin Blake, who worked with Roald Dahl, sort of big part of his career. He illustrated The Boy in the Dress and Mr. Sing, the first 2. I mean, The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was the first book that I read that I really loved. So definitely he's an influence. And I always think of him as the gold standard of children's writers.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally. And so I think he's the one you aspire to, right? It doesn't mean you're ever going to get anywhere near, but it's a good aspiration to go, okay, could I ever, I've got to try my hardest to get anywhere near him. I mean, I don't know if you might feel the same in football. There's someone you absolutely idolise. I don't know, like a Pele or someone like that. and you sort of know, not that I'm trying to cast aspersions, but you sort of know you'll never quite be Pele. It's like being a boxer, right? And you want to be Muhammad Ali, and you know you're never quite going to get there.
Are you saying I'm not as good as Pele?
I only know Pele from Escape to Victory. That's why I know.
You've discussed that before, though. It's like he could celebrate the small wins, and and he knew that he wouldn't get there, but they still inspired him.
Successful.
I'm not comparing myself to Pele.
Okay, it's just that thing, isn't it, where you kind of go, "Oh wow, well look what they achieved," and it inspires you. Of
course,
doesn't mean you're in the same universe as. For me, I don't feel I'm in the same universe of talent as him, but it's still like. Wow, he's in terms of book writing, he's like a hero of mine, and I sort of want to try harder.
But you say that, but I mean, these, obviously that was a different time, and it's been, plays and films, and that's happened with your books, right? There's been
not
films,
to the same extent,
not quite yet, but you've got time.
No, well, there's films in development, the cartoon series. There have been musicals. There's plays, often touring the country. There's one of Awful Auntie touring at the moment. There's lunchboxes. Actually, having Tupperware was one of the most exciting. I don't know why it was so exciting, but I was sent
a Tupperware
box. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm on Tupperware. Because when I was growing up, having something like a Star Wars pencil case was really, really exciting. So I was excited about that. And also there's like an Alton Towers ride. So all these things are really exciting. But I love the Alton Towers Gangster Granny ride. It's brilliant, and I've got a little world there. It's fantastic. But I went to Universal Studios with my son in Florida, and we went to Harry Potter World. Have you ever been there?
No, we've never.
It's like...
We have been there. Harry Potter World?
Florida,
no. Oh, not Florida, no. I went to the one in Watford.
It's the size of about sort of 30 football pitches. It goes on and on and on. And she has like every single thing that you could possibly think of for sale there. You can have like butter beer and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, oh, wow. This is what amazing success actually looks like.
Yeah.
But she's like 1 in a billion, isn't she, in terms of, what's happened with Harry Potter.
Pete's bought 3 books out, which have all been #1, and he was talking about, looking at the charts and being next to Michelle Obama and Sapiens.
Ottolenghi, Harari, It was surreal.
Yeah, you're often compared to Michelle Obama.
Yeah. But when I'm actually better than her because I was above her at one stage.
Wow.
So I'm probably more powerful than her.